GSL.
Welcome back to the GSL Code S, where dreams are made. We have Taja been taken out by Seed. One all in after another. Slapped him down. Seed advances to the round of 8. And he's done, man. But his opponent, Taja, lost. And he's going to have to play against the winner of Violet versus MVP.
Violet against MVP, Zerg against Terran. And while we're waiting for the game to start, I want to mention another Terran player that we saw yesterday, Gumio. And, you know, Gumio is called the Towel Terran. Remind me, why is he called the Towel Terran?
Because he places a towel over his mouse while he plays, because he has that hyperhidrosis, I think is what it's called, where your hands sweat all the time.
I know, and I did not know that until yesterday. I know that he has a towel always with him, but I did not know that his hands sweat all the time. But I was walking up towards Gumio after the match and was like, hey man, well done! And I shook his hand and was like, whoa!
Yeah.
This guy, I mean, really, I've never seen this. I didn't even know you could have that.
Well, I wonder, there's a TM in Pokemon called Water Punch, right? Is there?
The problem is that, well, Pokemon is one of those series I actually watched in German back then and not in English. So all those thingies have different names.
Did you play the game?
No. Squirtle, for example, is called Shiggy in German.
That's a pretty cool name.
And it always says Shiggy. It's really funny.
That's really interesting.
Shiggy!
We talked about this yesterday briefly, but it seems like Germany really prefers dubbing to subbing.
Yeah, they do. I actually don't like it, because if you compare it to the Nordic countries, they don't dub, they sub.
Yep.
And their English pronunciation is so awesome. So I have to say that I would love to if they would change it in Germany as well.
Well, it's time for Violet against MVP. Z versus T on GSL Code S. Totally botched that one, Cal.
Look at that intro. I love these snaps, man.
Shut down, tell me there's gotta be a way out from underneath the gravity. My heart is breaking down.
After another amazing map intro, I really, really love them. We have our first game in this best of 3. We are on Whirlwind. And we have the losers match to the top right in the red, starting for Empire. This is
Empire Violet.
Violet losing to Seed earlier. Seed who has already advanced, and now he faces a Terran player. And he's gonna, well, the winner is gonna face Taja.
Indeed. And his opponent down here at the bottom right from the team LGIM. His ideas.
LGIM MVP.
And he's definitely the MVP of IM.
And this is our first Zerg versus Terran today, and it's going to be really interesting. The starting match is... I'm currently thinking about if we have seen a lot of ZVTs on this map already, and I think we've had 1 or 2 in the GSTLs, but beside it, not all that many.
No.
So I don't think that both of them will have a lot of experience on this map in this matchup. They've definitely trained for it, but let's see what exactly they are up to, what kind of strategies they are playing here. Violet will, of course, start with a 15 hatch.
Yeah, and MVP is going to go for a 14 CC, it looks like.
Which is something that you can definitely pull off on this map. But one of the things that he has to think about is that, well, we talked about it yesterday, but I guess a lot of you guys probably haven't tuned into the Code 8 matches or have not watched the VODs yet, so let's just talk about it once again. We had Blizzard change a lot of things in the matchup with the Queen changes. A lot harder for Terran to actually make Hellions work and to make sure that you can force the creep back, control the Zerg player, and just put your foot down in the ZVT matchup. So what a lot of Terrans are experimenting with right now is actually going back to Bio, playing with a lot of Bio forces, and early on aggression with Marines has proven to be quite a problem for a lot of Zerg players, especially for Zergs that try to rely on minerals, don't take gas, don't get speed, but make a very, very queen-heavy opening.
All the way from Holland to see MVP fighting. That is quite a distance. Thank you for coming.
well, he had a lot of time. Holland was kicked out of the European Championship already by us. Germany, so... well... No, I actually love that he's here, but sorry, we have the we have the match coming up against Italy, and I have to brag about us finally doing well in football, because let's face it.
What if Italy wins again?
Huh?
What if Italy wins? How are you going to feel after talking?
How would that happen? What are you laughing about? How would that happen? Oh my God, Wolf, you have no idea. I'm gonna watch this game.
What if Germany
I will scream on
what
the
if
top
Germany
of my
gets
lungs.
like an own goal and that's it, and then then that's just it. Then they lose. What if that happens, man?
We don't lose. The Germans don't lose, my friend. Not anymore. I've actually witnessed this time when Germany really sucked at football, and we played horrible. We always fought to the last minute, to our last breath, but we lost. And now we finally play attractive football. We play so well. We have a really good team, and I'm proud of them.
Well, that new Queen range at work there, shown there. A lot of people really...
What a transition! No, but you're right. Let's focus a little bit on...
A lot of people have really been complaining about this Queen change, and I wonder if it will be reverted. I'd like to see it stay, at least until Heart of the Swarm.
What I actually think they're going to change is they will change the overlords a little bit. I think that the speed buff was necessary, but I think that it's too much. 20% is too much.
It was 25, in fact, if I'm not
yeah,
mistaken. It's like ridiculously faster.
They have to a little bit less. It's too much right now. It's nice and it was necessary, but they overdid it a little bit in my opinion, and I think they will reduce it at some point. But now we actually have gas now for Violet.
He's going for gas, and MVP is going to be following up with Banshees. Pretty common to see in this matchup these days with a third command center.
But the thing is that we have currently the situation that I was talking about a little bit. We had the Queens, he has 4 of them, so he was relying on Queens for quite a long time. He didn't get gas early, was trying to focus and on his drone production, is already at 36 to 29. And MVP on the other hand, he has Hellion, so he's playing with the Hellion opening. He's actually catching an Overlord here, and I like that he's trying to be a little bit more aggressive with those Marines, and those Queens will not be able to stop him. Here come the Hellions, biding a little bit of time. He's not losing a single one of them. And MVP is opening up with a more classic style. He's opening up with the Reactor Factory Hellions.
This is what I like to call the Polt build, man.
What do you think about it? We talked about it yesterday a little bit, but just your thoughts on the opening with the Hellions compared to a bio opening.
Well, I still like this build even with the Queen changes. It's a lot harder to make work, but I really like this build in general. It's my favorite build, in fact, in TVZ, where you follow up your Command Center first, your 1-Rex expand with a starport and a third base. You put Banshees out to put harassment on. You can control towers, help deny tumors. Even with the new Queen change, the Banshee still is not even affected by that at all. And, you put pressure on with the Hellions, make the Zerg react, while you take a third Command Center. Then, double Engineering Bay and go into that very heavy ground style. And when the Queens don't really matter, I really like this style in general in this matchup. And a lot of people have been complaining about the Queens. I don't know... complaining is one way to change things, yeah, but I like innovation more. And like you said, a lot of people have been experimenting with this Marine style. Purely no stim, no upgrades on these Marines. Just put in Marines out early to put pressure on. I like this.
You know what I found very interesting when I saw how Morrow approached it? Morrow is obviously not necessarily on the same level as a player like MVP, but he plays both races. He plays Terran and he plays Zerg, so he is kind of knowledgeable about both worlds. He has all the insights, and he was the first one that I really saw approach this matchup with a lot of bioforces. But well, MVP is relying on those Hellions in combination with Banshees. It's one of the things that we've seen in the last few weeks done by Terrans more often. You said it already, that this is something that is a lot more common these days.
Yeah, this was, before the Queen change, this was almost the only build that we ever saw. And that's why, figures like Artosis actually really like the Queen change, because they feel that it may change the way that Terrans are playing, because right now they're only playing this matchup one way. I read an interview with BCQT today about one of his recent all-kills in a team arena, and he said that he thinks the Queen is a big problem. It's just everywhere I look, I see pro players complaining, and mostly foreigners, about this new change, but I really feel innovation is the way to go about this, and we're starting to see it a little bit. Like you said, you mentioned Morrow. We saw yesterday Bomber change things up quite a bit, and, well, we'll see how this matchup evolves. The armory, or rather Yeah, the armory. I'm like, I actually said it right, but I thought I said it wrong in my crazy head. The armory finishing so you can get 2-2.
Yeah, you can start the upgrades right away, and he's playing pretty upgrade heavy here. Violet is also starting +1/+1. He's on its way with Double Evolution Chamber, and he's going for a Spire attack here. This is a huge map, so with Mutalisks you can actually do a lot of damage, which is something that we see not that often anymore against Terran. But in general, if you have a big map like this, you can do a ton of damage with Mutalisks. You can try to flank, you can try to abuse the terrain, and just the fact that your opponent has a long pushing distance.
I like this because it's like, well, do you want the Hellions? Okay, well, you're going to have to lose some Roaches. He didn't target fire with his Banshees at all, so he didn't kill any, but he should have lost Roaches. Well, now, actually, just a bunch of crazy things are going on here. He's going to pick off some of the tumors in the center, but that's not going to really decrease his creep too much. But I like what the Banshees offer him here. It offers him a lot.
Yeah, but that's exactly why I like this counter with the Mutalisks, because he will be able to not only counter those Hellions, but also, of course, the Banshees.
Yeah, and he's probably not going to overcommit to Mutas. Yeah. I think he's just going to stick with them initially here.
He will put MVP in a spot where MVP has to start thinking about what exactly he's going to do now, because MVP will have to change his game plan. He cannot completely rely on what he was doing before. If he wants to stick with the Marine and tank production, he needs some Thors in the mix. He definitely needs those Thors. There's no way around them. With Marine only, it's really hard to hold this until you put your opponent in a position where he has to fight with Mutalisks, and that's the one thing that you usually don't want to do. Mutalisks are hit and run in this matchup.
Yeah, exactly.
They will go in, do damage, and then they want to get the hell out of there as soon as the Marines approach.
He's only made 10 Mutas. I think he's going to stick with this number because he hasn't made any more. He's already started 2-2 upgrades. Nice deny on the scout here. I don't know if the stim was necessary, but he denied that scout. And he hasn't started +1 for his Mutas. So this indicates, of course, that he's going to be sticking with this. And there's the Infestation Pit. He's making the transition. Uh-oh! This is huge because if he loses his small amount of Mutas, oh, well, already losing 3. And that basically reduces his Muta effectiveness by 30%.
Yeah.
Oh, he's going to clean up the Watchtower now here.
Has the numbers down cold.
I got him, man.
3 out of 10. Let me think for a second.
Well, I guess with Mulas are maybe a little bit more complicated with the bounce damage, but let's just say 30%.
Roughly.
And he's just making more turrets in his main base, just making sure he doesn't leave anything up to chance here. Siege mode is finished, and look at this, Muta's not able to do anything.
One thing that you have to be careful of if you are Violet in this point, he already has a 4th base, so we see that is there a medivac over there, or what exactly is moving at the top of the map?
It's that Viking that almost died from earlier, that it flew into a Spore Crawler, then just occasionally it was like, I guess I'll not die after all.
Still making my point. He can drop. Drop play on a map as big as this is always an option. This is one of the reasons why Violet actually built those Mutalisks, because he was not only aware that the Banshees might pose a problem to him, but later on the drop play is going to be something that can really be, it can be the decisive factor in the game. Antigua comes to mind, where denying the 4th, it's all that's about. So Violet now with the aggression, but he can expand to the top left if he wants, and then he needs those Mutalisks. Obviously, he's not going to commit to this attack because he just gets a bloody nose, and he knows exactly, well, if I commit, I will probably lose my entire army. Yeah,
indeed. At this point, the drop is spotted, but the creep spread is actually really nice despite the denials of MVP. +2 on the way for his siege tanks coming out, as well as his 3-3 is way ahead of his opponent in upgrades. There's going to be a pretty long period of time where they're both on 2-2, but the 3-3 will finish first for MVP, and if Violet doesn't start his 3-3 right now, then there's going to be a longer period of time. The Ultralisk Cavern is the tech of choice for Violet right now, and this is actually going to be a pretty good engagement for him initially, but he can't commit. Going to lose his queen, and now MVP will start to reduce the creep.
The drop is getting in position, and Violet is doing exactly what I wanted him to do. He's going for spine crawlers at his expansion, and he has to. He needs to secure those bases.
He even has 2 Banes.
Has the Banes and everything that he needs. Violet is approaching this match really well, and I like the Ultralisks, but here come the Zerglings as the Ultralisks are not done just yet. And look how much damage he's dishing out. More and more fungals are being cast by these infestors.
He needs to get him out of there, though.
The Mutalisks stream in and do a ton of damage to all these units.
Yeah, that was actually a really good trade. Wow. He lost a lot of infestors, but in the end, it was pretty good.
Violet!
Oh, Violet.
He does so well with this attack, and then he leaves the Mutalisks to die against the Marines.
Well, he's going to get some Marines for free here now as he is focused on this base at the top left. Nice pickup by MVP, only losing 2 units. 4 Ultralisks on the way, but again, his 3-3 is going to be done first, and he's going to be able to do so much with that. The problem for him, though, is that he's 50 supply down. He's got the 4th base landed, but his worker count's only at 65, and he needs to actually reproduce quickly. I like this. This drop very effective. He's going to be able to get out again, losing only one Marine this time. Goes right into the main base from one drop to another.
Right now we have a lot more drones being produced because Violet tries to get his worker count up again. He realized that there were way too many of them killed already. We have the Ultralisks out now. Genius plating and +3/+3 is not done yet. And these drops are really annoying him. And there's only one... Oh, nice. In the middle of the map, he catches a few of these Marines out of position. But coming back to the point at hand, the Mutalisks are being targeted by MVP because he wants to shut these anti-air units out. Violet lost way too many Mutalisks in the mid-game, and now he has a problem against drops, and MVP knows it, so he takes down the last two remaining Mutalisks and forces his opponent to either rebuild them or being like really vulnerable to drop play.
Yeah, MVP has been really cost efficient with his drops ever since the Mutalisk count was reduced, and you're so right about that. As soon as you know there are no more Mutalisks in play, you just drop like crazy. Every Terran will tell you that. When there's no Mutalisks, you don't worry with your drops. No one except Fruit Dealer ever leaves Infestors to defend against drops either, so I mean... And, well, we all know what happened to Fruit Dealer, so you see the drones going up to the north here. He's no longer going to mine only gas at this base, but MVP now getting his act together. I feel like he's got the strong composition. He's got 3-3. He needs +3 for his tanks, but he's got Planetary. He needs to start being aggressive and pushing out, though. He can't just sit back with his strong army forever, and that's exactly what he's doing. Pushing through. He's already started producing some Marauders for these Ultras.
And he sends a drop towards his opponent's base once again. This is exactly the thing that we mentioned. The Overlords are not spread all that well for Violet, but he's trying to push himself. He's trying to go into the siege.
I don't know about this engagement. He does not. There was a better concave at the bottom. He's going to try to stop the or help his retreat with some fungals, but he's losing Infestors as a result. Oh, that could have been even worse.
I'm a little bit afraid that Violet is going to run out of steam here.
Well, he is going for Greater Spire now, but he needs another base to support that. 48 Zerglings on the way, 4 more Infestors as well. It's going to be pretty expensive to do that, and the Broodlords, so he cannot afford to lose any more units. MVP with a big push up here. This is not just a drop, this is a huge group of units, and just a few Banelings and Zerglings is not going to be enough. He's way out of position right now.
And a bit of a problem with the pathing, apparently, as Zerglings run into the army of MVP, and, well, they didn't do any damage. There was no hope for a run by, so losing a few Zerglings there, definitely not what he wanted to do. It's not really all that bad. It cost him a couple hundred of minerals, but still, it's something that just shouldn't happen.
Yeah, you're right. At this point, though, it does give him enough supply to make these Corruptors, which he started producing. MVP needs to do something about this creep. He's a little bit nervous about it, about moving out, but the creep for Violet is all the way to his 4th base, and he has not really been able to reduce that. He's going for another double drop here in the north, but meanwhile, as he's doing this, he's pulling the forces down to the south. I like this two-pronged attack. Right now, be careful about where he drops those.
The first Broodlords are morphing, and so far MVP doesn't know about them. In the middle of the map, another engagement being forced by MVP. He's trying to bait Violet into attacking into the siege line. So far it hasn't happened, but now the drop is occupying the Zerg quite significantly. And here's the scan, beautiful! MVP, he sees the Broodlords, and that's the one thing that he needs to do now, because if Violet attacks him with Broodlords and he doesn't have anti-air, he will just simply die there.
You're right, but he may actually be able to break through first. We'll see the Ultras leading the charge, and this will allow the Broodlords to finish morphing, but he's losing so much in the process. MVP is going to have to get off the creep again. He does not have an answer for this just yet. That one Marauder, well, we'll see what happens with them in the future, but yeah, this is indeed, as
Where's
the Broodlords. He needs to drop them, but the Ultras are blocking. Here we go. There go the Fungals, but he's done so much damage to these Ultras already. He needs the Broodlords. Are there enough Marines? There's 22 out right now. He needs to close the distance, but the Fungals are too good.
Well done by Violet. He could have controlled his units a little bit better, but MVP, he is forcing him into engagements that are not really optimal for him, but he is forced back. The Terran, that is, he's forced back over and over again by this army. This is starting to be the end-game army for Violet, and it's not going to be easy to defeat all these Broodlords, but slowly and steadily all those Infestors are running out of steam.
He is, but he's lost so many Marines. He's down to 14 now. There's a run by at the 3rd base. The Vikings take out another Broodlord, but he still has a few left. And this is actually such a stressful situation for both players, but I feel like MVP may be the one who gets the short end of the stick here if he doesn't defend his base at the bottom left. He's not lifting it.
Oh, yeah, I don't think he realized it. Now he does, and the Zerglings run in again, are being attacked.
That one Marauder, oh my god, that Marauder has 17 kills.
18. This drop is basically what keeps MVP alive here. He already... When did he start to drop? There was like
That was
3
forever
minutes ago.
man, yeah.
It was like ages ago, and this drop did so much damage.
He killed the queen there too.
He
and
killed
he's not done, man.
He
Look
killed
at this.
actually 15 harvesters with this drop. Not only the one Marauder, but 15 harvesters in total have been killed.
He's using his concussive shells to slow down the mining, man.
Well, he's fine because there are 4 drones on
he's still optimal.
that would be awesome, you know. He starts to attack with concussive shell, and Violet reacts by not pulling the probes off, but pulling another one in.
Yeah, man. That must have been what he was thinking. 148 supply to 139. Both players' economies a little bit damaged right now, but they both traded armies so many times. Well, he's doing it again. He's gonna do this.
Seriously, this Marauder would just piss me off at this point.
He gets out with it again.
And MVP is getting ahead in supply. He's 175 against 145. So Violet, he's this one Medivac. Just come on, build one Mutalisk, one Corruptor, just one. Look at him.
Yeah,
this is the hero Marauder. He has 20 kills.
Now, yep.
That's the
All right, there's the Corruptor. Guess what? That Marauder, even though he wants to kill a Corruptor, it's an armored unit. He can't get it. He's like, all right, this is my last chance.
I'm just waiting for the anti-air roundhouse kick.
Yeah.
That could be Chuck Norris. 20
that
kills,
could be, man.
that could be Chuck Norris this time.
He's going to get end kills, man.
He doesn't stop.
All right, there we go.
23 kills.
Yeah, in the meantime, the Broodlord count has been replenished. He's now up to 11, in fact, with 8 Corruptors to support. The Viking count is at 8. He has 4 Thors.
That is the problem. Not only the Vikings, but also the Thors. The anti-air is ready right now. Earlier, Violet had a timing where he could attack, but we talked about the Mutalisks. We talked about he just needs a fast anti-air task force that is able to put the pressure on MVP's drop place, and he doesn't have it. When he had the Mutalisk, he still had something, but with the Corruptors, it's not going to be all that easy. He sends one across the map who always tries to chase down these Medivacs right now, but it's already, in my opinion, way too late. He should have done it earlier. He lost so much to these drops. And now Violet with a huge, huge Broodlord army, but is he able to kill the anti-air of MVP?
You know, I want to ask you a question. If you may know the answer to this. Hold that thought, though. I think we're going to have a big engagement. Violet's moving out. I'll ask you this question later. It's a good question. But we're going to see the Vikings actually in a really nice concave here. They're already pre-split. The Marines doing some damage in the front, and Violet needs to be very careful. He's down 50 supply here. 12 Corruptors, 11 Corruptors against 6 Vikings. Only 3 left, and the Thors. There are 6 Thors on the ground. 8 Broodlords, 7, 6. No Queens for the Transfuse. The Thors are trying to run away. Where's Corruption? He doesn't use Corruption. And he stacked his Corruptors up. He tries to transfuse Broodlords, accidentally transfuses a Corruptor there. But and this drop, man. Yeah, the drops. Double drop. Killing the spawning pool. Huge blow to Violet here. But MVP's multitasking is out of control. Yeah, but Violet, on the other hand, is on the move right now, and he still has a lot of them. Yeah, he's got those infestors, and that's going to be the big problem here. The Greater Spire saved! Wow. Saved there in the main base with 19 hit points left. 6 Corruptors against 2 Vikings and all these Broodlords. He's trying to take down the Vikings. There's the Queen. The Vikings are dead. And slowly but steadily, MVP is losing all his mining. Both of them still have like 1 mining base. But if a few Zerglings just run over to this, well, there's a planetary. But, you know, he's making 11 Marines at a time, so his production is out of control. MVP. I think Violet's in trouble here. Yeah, of course he is. He's losing base after base. Yeah, this army on the front is not going to last him forever because the production of MVP is still really good right now. He's got turrets, he's got the production facilities are still alive. He won't ever be able to leave this base because there's infestors at the bottom, but he can just continue to make Marines. But Wolf, we have 5 infestors with energy. He lost the Vikings as well. Does take out 1 more Corruptor though, and he's going to lose his first barracks. In the meantime, Violet can win this. MVP is not in an unwinnable position, Mel, no, but still, this is close. This is definitely close. The drone's going down here, puts him at a worker count of 25. Look at this, another fungal hits the Vikings, and the Vikings, they're going to die again. Another transfuse by Violet. The Marines are trying to dart through. He's got enough fungals to hold on. He needs to use them very well, though. He's not fumbling the Marines. Okay. Oh, he fumbles the Marines on the right, but the ones on the left continue to close the distance. He's trying to get through. He is on his last legs here. This is so close. And he will take out the final Marines. And it looks like Violet has taken out all of the production of MVP. He doesn't have anything left he can use. That Thor comes out, but it's not going to do anything.
No, nothing. Yeah, well, it dies. That's the only thing that this Thor does. 2 Vikings building at the same time, and how many Corruptors do we have? We have 2 left, and still those 5 Infestors. Violet, he's done it. He lost base after base. He basically has no mining left, just a little bit, a tiny little bit amount of mining. But this has to be it.
MVP needs to reproduce his production facilities. He's doing it. He's making 2 barracks, and he is kiting. He's doing a great job with his Vikings. Takes out 1 Corruptor. As long as he can avoid the Fungals and the Infested Terrans, because there's very little energy left, he can actually start picking off these Broodlords. Great control. More Corruptors floating across the map, 3 more in production. This game is not over yet, but MVP in a tough position now. The tables have turned. He has the money, but he does not have the army.
Wolf. He's building 8 barracks. 8 barracks to the left.
He's reproducing those. He's got the money, but he doesn't have the army, so he's got to buy time here. He's got that planetary. The Broodlord should be going towards that location. That's exactly where they're going. The Viking being repaired. It's been corrupted, but there's too many Corruptors. I don't think... Well, as soon as the Marines come out, he should be able to keep it alive, but this is insane.
He needs to kill this base. MVP can still win this game.
He absolutely
this reminds me of him against Lenok, the game that we saw like
exactly
a couple of
what I was
seasons
thinking
ago.
of too, yeah.
The match, it was dual side if I recall correctly.
Yes.
This was insane, and this is similar. Violet, he could take this game right now. There are 3 starports building for MVP.
Yeah, he's got the base on the left as well, though. That's the big problem. Violet is not rebuilding a hatchery. He's got just the one at the bottom right.
But Wolf, does Violet actually know about the base? He does not.
No,
he has no idea that there's a base.
And he needs to be checking because, I mean, obviously something is going on here. He is going to take another hatchery, it looks like. He's sending a drone to the top. He makes a hatch, but he has no answer for this base. I mean, he has answers for it, but he doesn't... Since if he doesn't know about it, you can't kill it. And in this case, what you don't know can hurt you, okay? Oh, he's going to lose all his drones here at a very low hit point for Marines, and...
He's using Burrow. He's using Burrow. MVP didn't see it.
He's going to target the hatchery. He will not get it if these roaches actually come right away. Well, it's going to be close. No, he will not get the hatchery. Close call, though.
FML. Wow.
And he still doesn't know about the hatch. He's not checked.
No, he didn't.
He thinks the command center that was once at the bottom is still there, and he's going to go and kill that. But the problem is that's no longer even there. He's moved that to the bottom left.
If he relaxes now, he can still lose. But still, these Infestors... I keep on harping on these Infestors, but the thing is, they are the one thing that secured Violet his win so far, his potential win. And now he knows. Now he knows. He spotted it. And with good Fungals, the Marines will not do anything.
Yep.
And the Vikings will do nothing.
It's not a planetary either, man. It's just an orbital. So this is going to be pretty tough for MVP to defend. I think this may be checkmate.
Violet.
This is the last stand for him.
He's moving in. He's trying to take this down. The Fungal hits the Vikings. He takes down the first one. The second one dies. The SCVs are being pulled off. The Roaches, they stream in, and MVP is struggling. He's fighting the LGIM player up against Empire Violet. And the Zerg, he's pulling it off. Only 2 Vikings are left. 7 Marines. That's not enough.
7 Marines is not enough at all. MVP plummeting and supply down to 29 now. Infested Terrans cleaning up the rest. The last Viking trying to do what he might, but he cannot stop the might of the Broodlords, and MVP will fall here on Whirlwind. He has the base at the bottom left, but the income he has there is not going to be enough. Now Violet on 2 mining bases, and this is the end.
Against Lenok, MVP pulled off the comeback. Against Violet, it's not possible, at least not in game number 1. Even though he has a 1 orbital on the bottom left, this is not going to happen. He still has minerals, but Violet is rebuilding drones. There's the GG. Wow.
What a game.
37 minutes, and Violet did it. Game 1 ends in favor of the Empire player. The Zerg, he takes the lead.
Takes the lead and looks really, really strong. And Drinking Picari Sweat, how could you not?
Great game.
I really, really enjoyed watching those 2 fight because there were clearer strengths and weaknesses to both of their play. MVP definitely with the better multitasking for harassment, but
These
as far as the drops were great.
The Marauder,
But Violet, man, his strength of pushing, his patience, really won him out today. I have to say, his patience was what won him this game.
Yeah, well played by both of them. A really great match. Violet with small slip-ups in the unit control. Those situations come to mind when he did not really pay too much attention to his Mutalisks, lost a lot of them, and therefore enabled MVP to take the opportunity and drop him like everywhere. But this was only the first map. We're gonna have at least one more map before we know who is going to advance, who's going to advance to meet Tasia. And now the next map is gonna be Ohana.
It is. Ohana will be our map for Game 2. Really curious to see what build MVP is going to show us here. He has declared in chat that he is ready. I was really impressed with MVP's harassment last game. It was insane. He waited a long time, but as soon as the mutas were gone, he started attacking all over the place.
And that one Marauder will haunt the nightmares of Empire Violet.
I will. I am just... I remember thinking back to that Marauder, man. I gotta laugh.
What did you want to ask?
I know, I just remembered that I wanted to ask you something, but I can't remember now. We'll have to wait and see if I can remember. We'll also see if MVP can tie things up or if the big favorite, the champion from last season, will be out of the GSL Codex.